Wouldn't it be great if every time we forgave, we could go back to exactly the way things were? Even better, it would be as if everything around us was perfect, with us picking up as if nothing had happened. This is possible in many situations. However, many times this is not the reality we face. For many people, the forgiveness process is not that clear cut. It has a lot of gray areas, and to be honest, it can be quite uncomfortable, awkward, and challenging. So, today I'm going to be highlighting scenarios which may play out during the forgiveness process and give you some tips on how to approach them. Today we'll be continuing the theme of forgiveness with our third video. If you have completed challenge 1 and challenge 2, I would like to say congratulations. You are 2 steps closer to fully releasing, fully forgiving, and really letting go of the feelings of unforgiveness. If you're just joining, I'm really happy to have you here. You can check out the first and second videos in the description. The first scenario which may cause some discomfort or awkwardness is I forgive you, but I don't know how to reconnect, which for many people, this is something that is experienced. The thing about it is that we get so caught up as it relates to who is to contact the person first and who is to follow through, that we forget that if you value a relationship and actually want to continue to build a friendship, it doesn't hurt to be the first person to reach out and say, hey, we've moved past this situation. I'd love to reconnect with you. The sad reality is that many relationships and close friendships have been lost because both parties have been waiting for the other to be the first to reach out until no one actually does. The second scenario which we will look at is I forgive you, but I do not trust you. This is understandable, especially if you were betrayed. However, note that trust is something that can be built and it can be rebuilt. It, however, may take some time. This is something that should be communicated to the other individual, that you are having some challenges trusting them. If you had had a discussion to bring closure to the situation, the person would understand why this is the situation. However, note that though you may communicate this information, it is not expected that you are going to constantly use this as an excuse when communicating with the person. The aim is actually to try to build back trust. So you need to make a concerted effort as well. Also, this is not a test. So it is not a time to be testing the individual to see if you can trust them. Because many times when you put the person in a situation, testing to see or trying to prove that they're not trustworthy, you are usually the one that becomes disappointed by the results. And remember, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The third scenario which may play out is I forgive you, but I can't forget. Forgetting the deeds of others, depending on the offense, can be quite challenging. To assist you, it is encouraged that you pray about it. Pray that the Lord will remove the feelings, the negative feelings that you are experiencing, and pray that you will have a renewed mind as it relates to that individual. Also, consistently remind yourself that you have chosen to forgive this individual. Each time those negative thoughts come to your mind, don't focus on the thought. Just remind yourself, I have chosen to forgive this individual. This is no longer something I'm going to focus on. And above everything else, ensure that you don't operate in spite or focus on getting vengeance. If you're having challenges forgetting as well, it would be helpful to speak to another person to help you to process all that has taken place. This can be a trusted friend, a family member, someone from your church, or even a professional. The fourth scenario which may present is I forgive you, but I need to establish boundaries. This one is very important. And to be honest, it's not the worst situation to be in. However, it can be a little uncomfortable. Forgiving someone is a great opportunity to learn. And as you learn about yourself and the other individual, it is a great time for you to establish healthy boundaries. letting the person know that this behavior is not one that I accept. I don't respond well to this type of situation. I'm working on this, but to help me, I am asking you not to do that. These are things that can help us as we go along and help to build a relationship, because when there are clear boundaries, persons usually understand better how to operate. However, note to self that the boundaries that are set need to be realistic. They need to be boundaries that are understandable and expected. But if done properly, establishing healthy boundaries can reduce the likelihood of you having to have a similar experience in the future. The fifth scenario which may present is I forgive you, however, we need to go our separate ways. Or let's reword it. I forgive you, but I need to love you from a distance. Sometimes, given the unhealthy nature of some relationships, forgiveness and restoration usually does not last, as both persons bring out the worst in each other. And for some persons, for safety reasons, the best thing that one can do is to forgive an individual but to keep your distance. What do you do in this situation? Is that you pray for the individual. Show compassion if you need to, and wish them the best. If you can support without necessarily getting overly involved, do so. But note that it is not ungodly to decide to sever ties with someone, especially if you have prayed about it and it's something that has been weighing in your spirit. Note, however, if your decision to sever ties with someone is out of spite or vengeance or as a means of punishing the individual, then you are really at stage one in your forgiveness process. Why? Because then the action is more geared towards punishment versus healing, restoration, and building of self. This week's challenge is a continuation of the first two that has been done. So you have now created the list of all the persons that you've needed to forgive. By now you would have revamped or tweaked a little your approach to forgiveness. Look at the scenarios and see if there's any that you could apply to your life currently. If you need to reconnect with someone, make the effort. If it is that you're having challenges with trust, pray about it, communicate that with the individual, but work with them to build it. If it is a situation that you are having challenges forgetting, remember to pray about it. Constantly remind yourself that you have forgiven the individuals and focus on the positives of the individual. Research what are best practices in setting boundaries. Though it may lead to an uncomfortable conversation, most times the results are well worth it. And if it is a situation that you have forgiven someone, but for safety reasons or for your own mental health, it is best that you part ways with the individual. Be open to whatsoever possibilities that is, but pray about it and look at your motives. As you go through the process of forgiveness, there are going to be highs, there are going to be lows. However, make the effort to forgive others. And remember that as we approach the person, as we have our discussions, as we try to move on from what has happened, let's show grace, let's show love, and let's do unto others as we'd have them do unto us. May God bless you.